Well, hello everybody. Welcome to my coffee break. So, coffee break, this is a live stream that I started yesterday. So, my idea is that every day at 3 o'clock, I'm going to bring my coffee here with you because I drink coffee around this time. And this is really the space where I want to share something that's very practical that you can carry it into your everyday life. And hopefully, you're walking away with some skills that you needed to manage whatever I'm sharing, the topic that I'm sharing on that particular day. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and subscribe to my YouTube so that you don't miss any of the live stream that I'm doing. And of course, throughout the weeks, I put out a lot of different content, and hopefully, this is something that you may find value in. And I would appreciate if you're watching a replay, go ahead and put in the comment replay and let me know where you're coming from. If you're joining me live, then also give me a comment or say something, say hello. So today, I have a story to tell. Earlier today, I was in a meeting where it kind of got really heated. And when I say heated, I mean, I got pretty heated. My blood was boiling. I could feel my blood boiling. So it was one of those meetings where I am involved with several different organizations. So there's nonprofit and there's for-profit. So this was in a for-profit meeting. And when you're sitting in these large organization meetings or organization meetings, period, then there's a lot of different feedback and opinion and solutions and idea being thrown at the table. And when something is not in agreement with each other, we tend to get really worked up from it. So this morning, this is a story, and it's a true story. So the meeting starts at 9 o'clock, and we were anticipating for an hour and a half a meeting to come up and writing a report on one of the event that we have done over the weekend. Great, right? And each one of us were expected to, number one, re-listen to the tape, and number two, write down our notes in terms of what we think about from the meeting. What did we walk away from, and also just kind of summarize, what was really said during the meeting. So we were all there, and then right before the meeting, I got a comment, and it's all out of love. This is all coming out of love, but I love to share this experience with you. Um, the, the minute, the question I got was, oh, there was did you send out the link or how to report it? And I was thinking, well, if I remember correctly, I remember sending it out to you about almost a week ago when we first meet, right before the event. This is the link, the toolkit that we're going to be using, and now we're asking this question, and that to me it just kind of being too retroactive. So an event happened, and now you're asking me for it, and then I'm thinking I already gave it to you, so why are you asking me again, right? So there's that negative self-talk. There's that self-talk that starts to coming in. So all right, so I went ahead, and apparently the other person found the link, and it all works out fine. Great. Moving on to the meeting. During the meeting, so discussion went on, and the discussion involved around, well, okay, so let's look at the link. How do we gonna go about reporting this, creating this report, and how do we gonna go about writing it? So we were all talking about writing it, and this is where the conflicts start to jump in. And that conversation just kind of triggered something inside of me. And I was having a lot of that anger energy. And I'm thinking, unless I'm reading the question wrong, but I don't believe this is what your answer is not going to answer what the question is asking. So let me just clarify that again, because I don't feel that we're on the same page. So it was just went on for about 5-10 minutes, and we weren't going anywhere. So I kind of had that self-talk again, jump in and say, you know what, this is the most unproductive meeting I ever been, and this is just, we're just going in circle, and we all have our agenda. I disagree to agree, and it was just very bad. So What do you do? What do you do when you are in this type of situation where the conversation got heated and you know you have a lot of that anger or conflict energy that you're carrying it, but then you're trying to be very professional, not to go off on each other, not to contribute in such a way that it's almost putting the other person down or shaming the other person. How do you go about managing that feeling that arises during that meeting? And I have to be honest, there are times where I was involved in this meeting and it was just got so heated that I can't even participate in sitting in those meetings. And depending on your organization or the style of your leadership, sometimes those meetings can be very intimidating and it can be just not productive. So how do you manage it? Couple of things that I want you to walk away from today watching this is that when those emotion arises, instead of acting upon them, I want you to start creating awareness around them. How do you create awareness around them? And this is what the coaches will do the most effective way is by asking empowering questions. So what are some of the empowering questions that you can ask yourself whenever you're feeling those emotion, those anger or conflict energy, whether it's in your job, your work, your relationship, or even talking to your kids? Whenever these anger arises, ask yourself some empowering questions. So, one example would be, why am I feeling this way? Right? So, why am I feeling this way? What's going on right now? And why am I feeling this way? Oftentimes, when you ask yourself that question, what comes up for you may be that there's your personal value got violated. So if being productive is one of your values and being on time is one of your values, and when those values get violated, you may feel anger, right? And what else can trigger that anger? So we're looking at the triggers right now. So when you ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What you're really asking yourself is, what are my triggers? What's going on? What happened that causes this anger for us to feel that way? And it could be a value issue. Maybe your value got violated. And sometimes it's our own assumption of how or interpretation of what the situation is, right? So it could be the stories that we created in our head that's causing this feeling. And what was the story in my head? The story in my head was, oh, the other person just didn't do their homework. And the other story could be that, oh, well, we're all contributing on the same level, but this person is not contributing at the same level, so of course I don't feel that it's fair for me. So those are the stories that comes when we feel anger. So by asking yourself and doing an inquiry of what you're feeling right now and throwing yourself with some empowering question, you can actually be very curious and started to draw out in terms of what is it that you're really seeing here. Is it the fact? How true is your fact? And the fact that why are you feeling this way can really bring you into looking at your personal values and understanding your values. Then it makes more sense why you would feel that way. So if my value is time, people need to be on time, and someone show up being late, I would feel angry. And it's completely and perfectly okay to feel angry because, time is one of your value. Now, once you understand what your value is, once you understand the reason why you're really being offended or feeling upset, then you can look at what is the opportunity. So each time we do an inquiry in our own thinking, our own emotion, we start to expand and seeing options. What are the choices that you can make? What opportunity can you see from this experience? So to going back to that story that I shared earlier, how I was feeling a lot of that anger emotion. And by the way, these type of anger emotion during in the energy leadership perspective is what we call the level 2 energy. And I have a whole series of energy leadership that's on this channel that you can go into, and you can learn more about energy leadership, what that means, and what each level. There are 7 different levels of energy that we carry on a daily basis. So the energy that I'm describing here is really the level 2 energy, which is the anger energy or the conflict energy. So by understanding my own level 2 energy, understanding why I'm having these level 2 energy, it helps me to understand what is the opportunity here. And the opportunity that I saw was, this is not a great way to conduct a meeting, since one of us didn't do our homework, and we have such a disagreement on how to put together this report. Why don't each one of us go back and do our part, and then we'll come together collectively? So that was one of the solutions that I was able to see and pick up, and I bring it to the table. Once you an opportunity, once you can see a solution or options, then it's time to make a choice. And oftentimes you can make a choice as a group, take a vote, majority rule, right? So, but you have to be able to express yourself in a very calm and professional manner, so that the idea that you throw out is coming out of love, coming out of caring, rather than throwing out there and being all offended people. And that's how you resolve conflicts. You look at the opportunity respectively, and hopefully you're acting out based on your choices, conscious choice, rather than basing on emotion and these ideas that doesn't really serve anyone any good. So this is something that I want you to really think about and reflect for the rest of your day. And I will see you back tomorrow. I will see you at my coffee break. And again, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I will see you back on my channel.